here. Hello, hi, and welcome again to the Terminal Podcast, where in the end, it's all about the numbers. This pod is digging further into answering a random question. Which year in hip hop was better, 1988 or 1994? Each guest helped create the 88 versus 94 playlist, which is currently streaming on Apple Music and Spotify. From the nearly century full of songs from the last century, we return to narrow that list down to a top 10 because 10's a nice round number. So let's start with your name, where you're calling from, and to call back to the last podcast, available at martinkester.com. Which side of the Rob Bass single did you prefer? The A side, It Takes Two, or Joy and Pain on the B side? So I'll pass it around. Kenny?
This is Kenny calling in from McDonough, and I preferred side A. It takes two.
All right. Ed?
This is Ed Molina calling from the Crooklyn Zoo, Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a fan of Joy and Pain.
Fuzz?
It's Buzz from your beautiful nation's capital. It's definitely It Takes Two.
Sean?
Rashawn calling from Atlanta and the home of the I knew that was coming. I knew it.
You outnumbered.
I am bad myself. It takes two.
All right. I'd prefer Joint Pain, but conversely, moving towards the top 10 sounds good in theory, but we don't really have the time. It just would be too much. What we can do, however, is narrow down the choices and see what's left. We already had a playlist of 74 songs. Like I said, you can see that on Apple Music or Spotify. And there were many artists that had multiple tracks. The easiest way to start is with each artist. We're only going to allow them to have one track. So we're going to narrow it down from there. Anyone with multiple selections is getting narrowed down to one. I think when it comes to Jara the Damager, Come Clean's going to win out over My Mind Spray. Is that I think that's a quick agreement. And
Absolutely.
Slick Rick, we're going to narrow down between Children's Story over Hey Young World. Unless Brian, you want to argue that Hey Young World's a better track?
Wait, am I the only one?
No, I had Hey Young World.
Oh, wait, my bad. Children's Story for sure. I ain't arguing.
I'm just saying, if we're narrowing down, you're going to take Children's Story, you're going to take Hey Young World.
Children's Story.
Ed?
I still prefer Hey Young World, but I can concede to Children's Story.
All right. So we'll go from there. I added Jungle Brothers and the two tracks because I did want to say we were talking about Tootsie Roll and when did I first get into bass and club and everything like that. And this was it. It was I'll House You by Jungle Brothers. That song would be on 98 after 11:30. You'd get that song from the club, and that was what it would be, and it would go from there. So I'll House You or Straight Out the Jungle by Jungle Brothers. We'll go and bounce around again. Rashawn, what you got?
I'll house you.
Ed?
I'll House You.
Fuzz?
What's going on?
It's just those two
Straight
tracks.
Out the Jungle. Like, who am I here with?
Kenny?
I'll house you. That's my jam.
Yeah. So that's a 4-1. So that's a quick one. That's what I thought would. Ed, I'm gonna let you decide for Gravediggers of which one of those tracks because you brought both of them to the party. So
sure, absolutely.
For
me, I think the better track. Now, keep in mind they're both very morbid tracks, but I feel like and they're both great storytelling. But I feel like 1-800 Suicide's a better track. So much so that it was actually in the soundtrack for Demon Night. That was a Tales from the Crypt movie. Jada Pinkett's actually in it. I don't know if she's hot or cold nowadays, but
that's a good question.
So to me, I think 1-800 Suicide, that eerie beat, which I want to say it's the Reza, it could have been Prince Paul who created that beat. It's just there is such. I think that's the peak epitome horror rap joint because from atmosphere to beat to lyrics.
It was Prince Paul. Because
Paul.
they're only rapped with Gravediggers.
Okay.
Hmm. All right. Well, the next artist we're moving to is Method. Kenny, release your Delph or bring the pain.
Ooh, bring the pain.
Rashawn,
Bring the pain. Closer than the experts think.
Fuzz,
Can I write in Method Man?
no.
No, because
Bring the
it's between the
pain.
2 years. It's from between the 2 years.
Is this between those two? It's between those two because that's from the years 88 or 94, and
Bring
that's
the
yeah.
pain. Bring the
Bring the
pain.
pain. Ed,
I actually like Relicia though.
I
Like
was gonna
that
say it's
bombastic intro. I forgot who Homegirl's name is. Like the way it kicks
when
in.
I first came on the scene.
Listen,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ed also likes
People were
Slipknot.
petrified.
yeah.
Slipknot is
That's
dope,
not the
man.
edited
Ed
version.
It
also likes
is.
Slipknot.
Oh yeah, I did the edited
Tread
version. I'm
lightly.
still trying to
Yeah.
get hired here. So,
All right.
Tread lightly.
Well, so
but
bring the
I
pain. Bring. I'm not this. I was with you on release of Delph, but
it's
it's
it's close. I think they're both in that same vein. Like if I were going into a boxing match or a cage fight, Release It Up is probably the one I would use over the one that everyone's used. No offense to anybody, but like Bring the Pain. So, which shout out to Bring the Pain. I will say one of the coolest boxing intros of all time was Roy Jones Jr. when he came down with Red and Meth. I think it's I want to say in Atlantic City. I
Great
forgot
white
which
hype
fight it was.
too.
Yep, also in Great White Hype.
Yeah.
all right. Next artist. I was gonna say he wasn't in a movie like that. He should have been. Big Daddy Kane. Was he actually?
Ooh.
What I feel like Kane was in a film like that where he was playing like a vampire or something like that. Either way, um, he was doing
Uh,
something.
Not
Tubi
Vampire in
movie that
it's
Brooklyn.
very possible.
What he might have been
I was
in
about
what?
to
Oh,
say
Vampire in
Vampire in
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, but that's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have just been. I'm not saying he was starring it. I'm saying he was just in the film. But either
Oh,
way,
He got his SAG
set it
card.
off. Set it off, or ain't no half stepping from Kane.
Oh boy.
Kenny,
Ain't no half stepping.
ain't no half stepping. Fuzz,
Half stepping.
Sean,
set it off.
Ed.
Set It Off is what got me into hip hop. Like that's what sent me down the rabbit hole. So let's set it off with me.
So that's 2-2. Uh, I'm gonna play the tiebreaker. There's so many things that are just sampled from "Ain't No Half Stepping"
Right.
that
If you a
just,
Kane fan, that's Kane's flow.
I
That's
Yeah.
mean,
Kane. That's Big
it's
Daddy
that,
Kane.
and
Yeah.
if you just listen to like the first 30 seconds, you're like, wow. So someone cut that, someone cut that, someone cut that. It's like, yeah. So
Yeah.
as the tiebreaker, it's gonna be "Ain't No Half Stepping."
Real quick story about no half stepping.
Go
Back
ahead.
back when people were putting messages in the back of their head, that's what I had no half stepping in the back of my head.
All those wonderful times.
And you ended up a
Oh.
Braves fan.
So how was
Oh.
was
At
did
the
you
high
have that
top
and the
I
high
fade.
had to
top
take the
fade,
shot.
or
I
was it
had
just
to.
the
I had to.
shortcut? Or
It was the Gumby.
okay,
Oh, the
on
Gumby.
top of it. All right,
Nice.
we're going back to '88 with Eric B and Rakim. Follow the leader or microphone fiend. Ed,
Follow the leader for me.
Fuzz,
Microphone fiend.
Penny,
Microphone fiend.
Rashawn.
Microphone fiend.
Yeah, that's like my favorite track, so I wasn't even going to be able
Yeah.
to play anything on that. Follow the
It's good
leader
to be
is
on the inside.
uh yeah, no. I'll be able to pull this off. Sorry. This is the first with multiple. Well, actually, you know what? I'll throw in Scarface because that's another two track. No Tears or Seen a Man Die. Rashawn,
Seen a man die.
Kenny,
Seen a man die.
Ed,
Seen a man die. It's closer than it looks though, but seen a man die. Much
Fuzz.
closer than it looks.
Well, it was a short stay on the inside, but like real life, no tears by like a mile.
Wow.
All right. All right.
No tears is like a top 5 face track for me.
All right.
And Ed can stamp. I'm a
Yeah,
face
yeah.
guy.
I can
I'm a face guy.
I'm a receipt. Yeah, definitely. And no tears. I got
Unfortunately.
also receipt to that. Like I to me, that was my intro Never Seen a Man Cry. It was my intro to Scarface as a solo artist. Ghetto Boys used to get some play here in New York,
Yeah.
especially after my mom's playing Trick on Me. One of the first groups to come out of that part of the country. Was it Rough House? Yeah. And so him going solo, especially him having the best verse, it was just I thought it was a great opening track. Depressing as hell, but that's Face. Face put it all
Very
out there.
depressing.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Y'all need
unfortunately,
to listen to more Face. Face ain't depressing at all.
No, but I like
I,
introspective. To take a line, I like introspective Face better.
I do too.
Like I like Smile is my favorite Face track, the joint that he did with Tupac, because it's a positive message. But that song's depressing as hell.
So you like soft face?
I
let me
wouldn't say it's soft because it's coming from a place of loss. Like a lot of times, lost homies, lost love.
Oh yeah.
let me
You know,
let me move on probably to it's not the most I wouldn't have expected that there are 4 Public Enemy tracks that are on here, but there
What?
are just
Yeah, that's not a
because
surprise.
What?
That's not a surprise at
I gotta
all.
get
I'm
that
not a
off
big
my
PE
not
camera
fan.
saying.
right
I'm not a
now.
big PE fan. I'm just not a big PE fan.
Wait.
Oh.
This is a hip hop podcast, right?
Does that mean I
Right,
have to be
exactly.
does that mean I
Like
have to be a
how?
PE fan?
Sway? How you not a PE fan? You not
Right.
You ain't
Public
got no
Enemy should be
answer.
every hip hop head's favorite band.
Yo, I thought
There's
PE paved the road in so many ways.
they got 4 tracks on the
I thought
list.
my love of Slipknot was going to get me kicked out, but oh
It's
boy.
got 4 tracks on the list.
Yeah, Martin made you look good, Ed.
They got 4 tracks on the list. We're narrowing it down to 1. So between Night of the Living Bassheads, Black Steel and the Hour of Chaos, Rebel Without a Pause, or Bring the Noise, the Anthrax version, what fuzz
Man.
is the one?
Night of the Living Bassheads.
Penny?
And one of the more iconic rap videos on top of, like, if you really listen to Public Enemy, which I'm convinced you're not.
There's no need to convince anything. I just admitted I'm not the biggest fan. So, Kenny,
Rebel Without a Pause, mainly because it has one of my favorite lines where it's a reference to Charles Barkley.
What is
Rashawn?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh.
What is it? Hold
Oh,
on.
simple and plain. Give me the lane. I'll throw it down your throat like Barkley.
Barkley. Okay. Respect.
Ed?
None to you, Martin.
Thank you.
Oh man, I'm pretty much torn between Bring the Noise, Slipknot fan here again,
Oh, Lord.
and Rebel Without a Pause. I really like. I think Rebel Without a Pause is one of the first PE tracks that I listened to. So I think I'm gonna go with Rebel Without a Pause, even though I think the more influential song is Bring the Noise.
To the real Public Enemy fans, not Martin. What is a more iconic intro than bass? How low can you go? That's all I'm saying.
Bro. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is true.
Rashawn?
Again,
I went with Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos, but I understand the Rebel Without a Pause. So,
But not like a Living Bassheads Braves fan. My bad.
That's
My bad.
up in the
My
air.
bad.
So
My bad. I
I'm
apologize.
gonna
No.
leave that up. I'm gonna leave that up hanging because I don't even want to mess around with it. I'll come back and figure that out later. I'm gonna move to the Beastie Boys because they're right there in that same time period. Their 3 tracks: Root Down, Sabotage, or Get It Together. Ed?
Ah man, I got a soft spot for Root Down. I think Sabotage was so overplayed, and I love Sabotage. It's a great joint, great great video. Spike Jones, if I'm not mistaken, directed the video very ahead of its time, the song ahead of its time, influential in several genres. But I just love Root Down, man. That joint is so
All right.
it's got shades of old school. So
All right, Rashawn?
I went with Sabotage.
Kenny?
I love to get it together. Ma Bell got the ill communication.
Yeah, she does. Fuzz?
Under the assumption this is a hip hop podcast, I'm gonna go with Get It Together.
So basically, if you don't have that as your
Because
answer,
listen, that's
you
one of the
are
most
not
hip
down with
hop.
hip hop.
That's
So
one of the most hip hop Beastie Boys tracks ever.
That's true.
That's true.
yeah,
No
If you
dispute
and
take
that.
out Ill Communication
Get It
and
Together
Check
was
Your Head, it's the most hip hop Beastie
yeah,
Boys joint.
Probably.
Get It Together was my choice.
Sabotage is
Not
definitely steeped in punk rock. I mean, it's hard not to dispute that they went into their punk roots for that track, and I think that's why it has such crossover appeal
uh,
across several genres and several bands and radio stations. But I do agree with Fuzz that that's their most hip hop track.
all right. We're talking about seminal hip hop. After watching Questlove's SNL doc, ladies and gentlemen, it reminds me that we have lived this hip hop history. We each likely have moments that are attached to each album, artist, and song that we're mentioning. My moments are my times from Jersey and seeing artists that sounded like miles away, but could be right down the street. My friend's brother getting dressed for trips into the cities stapled in my mind. I've been instructed to forget what I saw about my older sister's adventures into the city, because to be inside the clubs mentioned by the rappers and the radio DJs. But I knew all that was like true for real when I met people like her friend Joe. He was just another guy who would come by the house we just talk to when we lived in Selvage. But to others, he's Joseph Mann or DJ Wildstyle from the legendary group Redhead Kingpin and the FBI crew. His contribution to the game helped shape an era and my eras to what hip hop, what it could be, into my ears, I'm sorry, to what hip hop is and what it could be. I wrote this just like 2 days ago, and while he was still with us, but unfortunately on February 5th, Mr. Mann left the building. There's a GoFundMe page to assist with all the end of life expenses that you don't think about until they're there. The link to that will be in the description. If you can, whether it's a donation, a share, or a prayer, support his family and his friends if possible. Hip hop at its core is a family affair. One of the things which we can accept strangers at just the sound of a beat. It's like family. We're all lucky to be a part of it. So let's take a moment of silence for Jersey's own DJ Wildstyle. Okay, all right. We're back. We're just going to answer this random question: which year hip hop better, 88 or 94? Got five more artists to narrow down to just one track only. And we've got the most prolific group left. We're going to start with NWA, which Straight Outta Compton was like the Chronic, but 4 years earlier was what my point was. But there's three tracks from NWA to narrow down to one: Straight Outta Compton, The Police, or Gangsta Gangster. Kenny,
Fuck the police.
Rashawn,
Fuck the police.
Fuzz,
Shout out to everybody that picked Fuck the Police, sincerely, but I'm going with Gangsta Gangster.
Ed.
Damn, I was gonna go straight out of Compton, but whew.
It was a toss up. Toss up.
I mean, the thing about I can't argue against "Fuck the Police." Again,
Fuck
we're
the
talking about
Police is the
influential songs.
iconic NWA moment. Like,
It,
that's it.
Yeah.
it's influential to hip hop as far as expressing the time and place, and a message that still kind of resonates to this day, considering how minorities are
Kinda?
treated. What's that?
Kinda?
Oh no, it is. It's fully. And again, it's one of those. It's one of those songs that transcends genres. I've seen that song covered by mariachis. I've seen that song covered by metal bands. It just transcends like the genre itself, it because of the messaging
So you
itself. So I'm still going straight out of Compton, but
After all that,
after
But I'm
all
not
that,
mad that that
my answer
that Fuck
didn't
the
change.
Police won. I'm not mad. Gangsta
well,
Gangster is a joint though. Gangsta
It
Gangster
is.
goes.
Oh, that's a banger.
all right. Outcast and being here in Atlanta is going to say, I guess there is no wrong answer. Players Ball, Get Up, Get Out, or Crumbling Herb are the selections.
I'm kind of surprised that what was the other big hit off the Southern playlist of Cadillac Music? Like, I'm picking Players Ball, but Southern Playalistic
That
is
wasn't
always the one I can't decide between Players Ball and Southern Playalistic. So I'm kind of
okay.
disappointed Southern Playalistic's not there. So I'll go Players Ball.
It wasn't on anybody's selections. It wasn't part of it. These are the three that made it out of
You
those
always
three.
got
Players
excuses.
Ball. It's not an excuse. It's a statement of fact. Ed, what out of those three?
I actually like Southern Playalistic better than Players Ball myself, but actually my joint is Crumbling Herb. I think it speaks for
Kenny?
itself.
Yeah, yeah. Kenny, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Players Ball.
Rashawn, you got the shirt on, so you kind of you got the video shirt on, like it's just like there. So
Yeah, it's Crumbling Herb.
yeah. And if it's gonna be between me and Players Ball or Crumbling Herb, then it's gonna be Crumbling Herb because that's my track. That's
All
my joint. It is my
right.
joint. I'm sorry, it is.
Fuck- Yo,
If you want to
is
talk
ready
get
to
up, get
kill
out,
somebody.
get up, get
Fuck
out
is
is the that's almost like I use that with like my cousins. It's just like you need to get up, get out, and get something.
Right.
It's more of a statement to high school and the young 18-year-olds across the nation. Like, look, do something.
Right.
You could preach that course and just like, yeah, no, that's but yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you could just Crumbling Herb could just remain on in the background and just that'd be more than fine. It's just like, yeah, that's just if you lowered it down and just be that background noise and you raise it up, yeah, no, that's too much.
Buzz is ready to like jump out his window right
Just saying, you think you know somebody. You think you know somebody.
By the way, I would say "Slept On Hootie Hoo." That's a track that slept on that album.
certainly.
Yeah,
That whole
All
album
right.
is just fire.
it is. The whole album's like,
We're two of our top albums kind of thing. Notorious B.I.G.
Mm.
Ready to Die. I put Gimme the Loot because that's my favorite song off that album because it just is. And I'm listening to it now, I'm realizing that that's basically an early version of Annie Up, or I mean, it's like he does that, and in the sense of they're just robbing people. That's it. I'm just talking about robbing you. That's
Yeah.
all it is. But either way, that still leaves four other tracks off of Ready to Die: Juicy, Warning, Unbelievable, and The Exception. But I'm gonna add it in there. Who shot you? Kenny,
Warning.
Rashawn,
Warning.
Fuzz.
Listen, my favorite rapper, possibly my favorite verse is the second on Unbelievable. So I'm going Unbelievable. Because Biggie was really spitting on Unbelievable.
He really was. I agree with
Right.
that, Buzz. Yeah.
I've heard a story that's his favorite track. Like he wanted that to be the initial song
That
to be
second
put on the
verse,
album.
that second verse is so vicious. Like it's crazy. The second Biggie's second on Unbelievable, and when you throw in the beat that he did at the I think it was at the Palladium with Biggie's not Biggie, Puffy's little rapist ass, like hyping him up.
Oh, when he rhymed over Take It Easy, the Take It Easy
Yeah.
instrumental from Mad Lion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like when Biggie wrote that beat at the Palladium, second verse, like just stop. Like that's just stop.
Ed,
Well,
what you got?
I've actually answered the phone like, who the fuck is this page? So I love Warning. It's one of my favorite storytelling raps of all time. This was a hard one for me because I really like Unbelievable. Also, I also love Give Me the Loot. Like that again, it's one of those situations with the whole album. And I think the easy answer would have been Juicy. Because it was the radio friendly joint. But it goes back to the story about Unbelievable. They put Unbelievable as a B-side to appease Biggie because Biggie did not like Juicy. He was angry at Puff.
Oh,
he should be.
No, Biggie didn't even want to do that track.
Right.
Yeah.
Is Puffy
Biggie
going?
shit.
I can sell.
Unbelievable Biggie shit.
Yeah. So it was even his favorite track, like Biggie to a degree. But I just Warning, like I said, that
That's what I'm gonna say.
conversation,
If I'm hearing
they
it,
told me about that conversation on the phone that he's having, the back and forth, similar
Right.
to Give Me the Loot. There was a while I didn't know that was the same guy. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's just this whole storytelling aspect of it. It was a brilliant song, but again, it's one of those things where you're choosing between Beyonce and Shakira. You're not going to lose on that night.
Yeah.
I just like Warning a little bit better than
Right.
Unbelievable.
so if I'm reading right, it was 3 for Warning, and Fuzz, you had Unbelievable, right?
You got to put it in my face that I lost.
I did not put it in your face, man. So you took Beyonce home instead of Shakira? I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
No losers here, Fuzz. No losers.
There's no loss.
Feels like it. Feels
If
like
if
it.
so, then this is
I
gonna
Well,
be
feel
the
like I
toughest
lost
one as
when
far
one
as
of
I'm
my
no.
good
concerned.
friends
well, yeah, I was about to
came up
say,
against
except for
me.
Martin not liking PE. That
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that hurt.
There you go.
We ain't never
Everybody
let
can
He
that
get
just
shit down,
stayed in this
Martin.
man's apartment.
everybody can get behind me not liking P. How about that?
I've
All
I
right.
never
think there's
stayed with
gonna
this man.
there's gonna be a lot of slow singing and
Ed,
flowers.
you
When
remember?
bring it
If a
right.
burglar alarm starts ringing. Thank you.
I've slept
Thank
in his
you.
apartment.
what's that?
I've rode
All
around
right.
Atlanta with this man. Come to find out, I never knew him.
Never knew.
Right.
If they're talking about losses, somebody's gonna catch an L to pick one of the 5 tracks that made this list off of Illmatic. Uh
Wow.
Life's a Bitch, The World Is Yours, One Love. I'm probably the one that put Halftime on here because that's my favorite track, or It Ain't Hard to Tell. So basically, what's your favorite Nas track off of Illmatic is the question. So Fuzz, what's your favorite? What out of those 5? Because there's only 10, there's only 5 more. So
I was about, I was about to say
Listen,
you
this
took the
time
whole
the one
album.
is there. The one is
what?
there. It ain't hard to tell.
It ain't hard to tell.
Of course.
Kenny,
It ain't hard to tell.
Rashawn,
It ain't hard to tell.
Ed.
What up, kid? No, One Love. Again, the concept
Thank
of
you. The story
writing a
concept of it,
song,
though.
the story
Ugh.
concept of writing a kite to your boys in the pen, like that, and I think Q-Tip is very underrated as a producer for that track that he laid down
Well,
for One Love.
if he
One
gets
Love,
One Love,
Nas was
that'd have been
Very
going
his
after
second
underrated
Clout.
track
producer.
as a producer because he produced Get It Together.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah.
there you go.
I gotta say, Nas was going after Clout with One Love. He wasn't cool with Cormega.
Whenever
That was
Comega
down the
beats
road. That
y'all
was down the
together.
road. That was down the
No,
road.
at the time he wasn't cool with Cormega.
Oh, well, you know.
But
But
it ain't hard to tell. It's Nas shit.
Yeah.
I actually had second Life's a Bitch because it can be. It really. I should have taken that life lesson early on that this adulting thing wasn't going to get better.
Well, I gotta say, Illmatic is widely regarded as one of the best because of the limited guest tracks, and you chose the guest track.
Which one? Me? One Love?
Yeah,
What guest?
Guest
people
on one.
revere Illmatic because the only guest was AZ.
Yeah. And
Oh
AZ's
yeah,
on Life's a
yeah,
Bitch.
but
Yeah.
Life's a bitch. Oh, you
yeah,
said One
that
Love.
verse is
Yeah.
hot.
No.
No, I said One
No.
Love, but like I would have taken also Life's a Bitch as well. Like for me, it
Yeah.
was on
All
too.
right.
But yo,
But
AZ's verse is hot, and it's not like
Yeah, it
anything came
is.
out of
Of
it.
course, it's AZ.
Yeah. I've even forgiven him for mispronouncing oriented. Yeah. I mean, in his world, that
He's
word is
far from the only
orientated. I'm
rapper
all
with
right with
Orientated,
good
that.
right?
pronunciation.
all right.
Far from it.
So it ain't hard to tell is the 3-1-1 winner. So the last of the artists they were reducing from 3, and I put him down here at the end for a reason. Gangstar,
Hold on. The last we don't have MOP.
no. Now You're Mine, Mass Appeal, or Dweck. And I am cutting off MOV, yeah, which is fine because only one track on the MOV. There might be both of them on there, but it
Listen,
was just the one you put up there.
I'm protesting. Ask everybody else.
So protest after you say which Gangstar track. Now Your Mind, Mass Appeal, or Duet.
I'm currently in protest. Ask everybody else.
Ed,
No, MOP doesn't sit with me.
MOP's already on the playlist. I'm lost why you're. You're fighting a cause.
They
They don't have
deserve a
two
shot
songs.
at
They don't have
second.
multiple tracks on here.
Okay, Annie Up. That's what I pick.
Well, Annie Up's not
And
making
I
no
wasn't even
list.
that dear,
Okay,
bro.
follow instructions.
How about some hardcore if you're gonna go MOP?
It would be either
All
how
right,
about some hardcore,
hardcore?
rugged, never smooth would be the
That's
choices.
also,
How
yeah.
about some
those-
hardcore?
All right. Well, but once again, that wasn't up for debate. Gangstar. So Ed, Now Your Mind, Mass
Now Your
Appeal, and
Mind
Duet.
is my favorite Gangstar song, period. Like I love a lot of Gangstar tracks, but yeah, that song about hoofing,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I
Penny?
love that. Same. Now You Mine.
Rashawn,
Mass Appeal.
are you still under protest or
Listen, it's hard to get back on track. You know, when you threw me into a whole pile up with the Public Enemy thing. All right, what do you want me to pick? Who? Gangstar?
Gangstar.
Now You're Mine.
yeah. All right, then that's a 4-1 because Now Your Mind is amazing. But all of this just narrows the number down to under 20 and it leaves out Redman and KRS and a couple of posse cuts,
MOP.
which leads me to the Pras Michel Award for the worst verse on a posse cut. It was established with a very weak performance on the Nappy Heads remix, which is on the playlist, and he confirms it multiple times on the score. I'll admit that, in my opinion, once again, Easy is the winner of this award. Easy E, even on tracks he's not on, I just don't like his voice. To paraphrase Rob Bass, even the ones who never saw me, like I don't see him. I hear him just a little bit, and it's just like, ugh. Anyway, that's right. I was gonna say that. Yeah, the way that he sounds at the show, the reason why, man, I don't know. So let's just move on. Now that's how much I don't like his voice. Regardless,
Easy.
somebody has to go home with the Pras Michel Award on the following tracks. The aforementioned DeWick. So and no one said this was going to be easy, but the worst verse. Who's got the worst verse on DeWick? Either Greg Nice, Smooth B, or Guru. Not an easy question, but Ed, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Greg Nice, and I like him, but are we rock for a fee? Although,
free. I mean, once again, This isn't. It's the worst verse. It's not like it's a bad verse. It's
I don't. The thing,
track.
I don't like this exercise because I don't want to clump Greg Nice with the toxicity that is Pras. Like that's part of my
Greg Nice
problem
has a
with.
That's why I said I knew it was
Greg
going to be.
Nice has a lane.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
you know,
Right.
like Pras is like in the same lane with like
No, he doesn't.
Magoo.
Pras doesn't have a lane. Greg Nice.
Oh, he
really
has the
doesn't.
lane with Magoo, like him and
It's
Magoo.
not-
The bird
I'm
word,
not-
bird
Magoo doesn't have a
word.
lane.
I think I
I'm
just
not-
threw up just thinking about Magoo.
Oh my god.
Rashawn, who you got as the least of those three? That's all it is. It's not.
Actually, I'm not to agree with Ed. Like on that track.
On that track.
I rock for a fee.
Penny.
I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I'm going to say Smooth B. I just, Greg Nice sets it off. Guru's verse is fire. Then Smooth B comes in, and it's not a horrible verse, but just compared to the other two, it just wasn't a good verse.
I respect it.
Fuzz.
Shout out to you for picking Smooth B over Greg Nice. I'm not picking the same thing, but at least you got some sense.
We're just letting you down all the way around.
Listen, I'm just going to go ahead and throw another unpopular opinion out there. Pretty much any posse track that involved Guru, he was the worst.
Ooh, ouch.
Ooh.
Now you killed my puppy.
Yikes.
My bad.
I've
never, like, Gangstar to me, apologize, but Premier over Guru. Like, and listen, Ed, Martin, you could tell me my rap opinions are based on lyrics. Gangstar is like the only thing that I'm like the beats. I'm a lyrics guy.
I can hear that. I can see that.
Guru
I-
doesn't
it-
have
it-
lyrics.
it makes what he's.
Gangstar is still in my book because Premier is one of the best producers ever.
And I love Guru, but when you start off with a chant eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I could see why you would be annoyed. I think that might have arrived by accident,
And
but
he's from Boston.
like I said, this wasn't going to be an easy question. But I kind of I'm trying to get at least through one more.
I mean, I go to the bodega, say suave every day. I mean, you know.
We talked about DeWick's a classic posse cut. The symphony is a classic posse cut. And out of these four, who's got the worst verse on this track? It's just this track. It's not all the other tracks. Master Ace, Cool G Rap, Craig G, Big Daddy Kane. Who's number 4? Fuzz?
I refuse.
Kenny?
Damn it. All right. If I really have to pick, then
it's okay to
I'm going to say
refuse.
Master Ace. I'm going to say Master Ace.
Ed?
I was torn between Master Ace and Craig, but I'm gonna have to go Craig on this one. Again, I don't want to clump him in the same pile of shit with Pras. It's hard. It's hard. Like it just. But if you're saying who's out of these 4, like I guess it would
It's
be Craig.
just all right. Well, Rashawn, it's just out of these 4. It's just this song, this one song, and once again, no one's saying that it's a bad verse. It's just the worst of these 4.
Exactly.
And possibly the best posse cut of all time and the
absolutely.
pioneering posse cut.
No, that's why I picked that's why I picked this as
This
a
wasn't.
question.
I get. You know, this
I
is
didn't say it was
supposed to be
easy.
physics. This is an exercise in thinking to put it in school terms. I guess. I
Rashawn,
actually had to re-listen to this track again like 3 times to like who I'm throwing under the bus. Like it was that hard.
It was.
So what is your worst verse, Ed?
What, my word?
Yeah.
I told you, Craig G.
Great
yeah,
G.
Rashawn.
Wow.
Trying to ask 3 times, but getting cut off.
No, it's fine, and I think Fuzz is gonna disown me, but Craig G.
Yeah.
You were already disowned.
Oh, my bad. Yeah,
It was the
I wasn't
Braves
even
jersey.
All right. I'll
It was the
do an
Braves
easy one. I'll
jersey.
do an easy one. All right. Here's the easy one. Flavor and Ear remix.
Huh?
Biggie, Craig Mack, Rampage, The Last Boy Scout, LL Cool J, or Busta Rhymes. Out of those 5, who's got the weakest verse? Ed?
I mean, I don't care if he's the first Boy Scout, the last Boy Scout, the second Boy Scout, the middle Boy Scout. I go with Rampage. Although I will say I came close to saying LL just to like disappoint Fuzz some more.
Sean. No, go ahead. I'm glad you said that, but go ahead because couldn't ask for a better setup.
That is annoying, but yes, again, I'm agree with Ed, the Boy Scout person.
Just remember that was the end of his whole thing. That it was Rampage, the last Boy Scout.
Yeah, Rampage. Yeah,
Fuzz.
All right, I'm gonna say this is definitely one of my fave Biggie verses, possibly top 5. Give me the 5 again.
It's the 5 on that track. Biggie, Craig Mack,
Slim, like
Rampage, Last Boy Scout, LL Cool J,
right now,
and Busta.
Yeah, the Flavor in the Year
Busta.
remix.
5. You got a list. You just said it.
I just said it.
Right. I wasn't listening. Give it to me again.
Biggie. Oh, I got it. Biggie, Craig Mack, Rampage, LL Cool J, Busta Rhymes.
Buster.
Okay.
Has the worst verse on that.
Excuse me. You don't like PE. You don't get
I'm just confirming. I'm just confirming what you said before I move on to Kenny.
Don't confirm.
Kenny?
Worst verse, Rampage, 2194. Man, motherfucking hardcore. Oh my God, it was horrible.
Yeah.
So I'll flip the question real quick.
But we're okay with like Buster going the flavor in your earpiece, like Grease, and like, come on, man. I'm a Buster fan, but let's be real.
Yeah, no, it's not the best.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's not the best, but is that the best Craig Mack verse ever?
No.
Is this a quick yes, no?
His verse first in the original was better.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
It
And
was a
I
quick
want
question.
another.
LL's
Sizzling.
verse
I want
wasn't
another rapper to bring back Scissoline.
LL's verse
Yeah,
wasn't
I
like
did too. I miss his
super
league. It
duper.
was good.
All right,
What'd you say, Buzz?
a long time ago, DJ Little Mike of BU fame argued with me that LL was the greatest rapper of all time.
Why is
I'm
that so, Little
Bad
Mike?
is 87, Jingling Baby is 89, and the remix a year after that. I didn't remember that I Shot Ya is a remix of L's Trackmaster track from 95's Mr. Smith. On a side note, LL, who y'all said possibly, he's quietly on some classic posse cuts. Uh, so the
Yes.
question becomes, which is your favorite flavor in the air, which we just said, 4321, which led to the
Oh,
whole cannabis. Uh, um, DMX, Red, and Meth are on that one in 97. The I Shot Ya remix with Fat Joe, Fox Brown, Keith Murray, and Prodigy. Rampage, which is going way back. I'm gonna call that a posse cut because
yes.
it's with EPMD and that beat is fire. So out of those four, anybody got a favorite?
Rampage. I think LL's verse on Rampage, that's literally like one of my favorite LL verses. The Ripper, the Master, the Overlordian, beating MCs like an old accordion. I love that. I love that verse.
Buzz?
I'm struggling between I Shot Ya and 4321 because LL made his name off of like battling people. Let's LL listen, who's grunting and groaning? LL battling Kool Mo D, one of the original, like let's listen.
A washed up rapper needs a wash up.
Listen, he wasn't washed up on either one of those tracks. And LL, I'm not saying I will never agree that he's the greatest rapper alive at all, but LL is one of the most slept on as far as talking about longevity in hip hop history. LL is up there with anybody if we just talking longevity.
I think with
LL brought
LL,
it back for 4321 and I Shot Ya.
I think LL's consistent.
But if I got to pick one, I'll go I Shot Ya.
Yeah. One question I do have about
let's
LL.
Let's not act like 4321
does anyone really call him Big Ellie?
When people thought he was washed.
That's what I want.
Everybody call him what? Big Ellie?
Big Ellie.
Big Ellie. They call me Big Ellie. Big Sally.
Who called him that?
Somebody had to. He gets paid
only
enough.
Big Ellie.
I think Chipper Jones. I think it was Chipper Jones called him Big Ellie.
The only Big Ellie I recognize is the mascot for the New York Liberty.
Shout out to Big Ellie.
Sabrina?
Ellie the elephant. But
yeah.
All right, we're getting off topic, and
I go with
my bad. That was my fault.
I go with I Shot You as mine, just because like I think not that 4321 wasn't hot. I think I just like it better.
Girl.
Yeah, I just like it better, and it introduced the world to Foxy Brown too as well. She had a little nice run coming off of that song. So,
but let's not act like LL wasn't battling and crushing people from the beginning to the end of his career.
He's the original Kendrick in that sense. Like he, deaded Kool Mo D.
And talk about longevity.
Cannabis.
Let's not even mention LL was the first dude signed to Def Jam.
Yeah.
That's 17, 16, 17.
Is there a more iconic rap label?
Considering
years old,
he's got longevity. He's consistent, if anything. He's consistent, and he's managed to weave in and out as hip hop has evolved, going from New York to the West Coast to the South. He's managed to evolve and stay consistent within all of that. No matter how much hip hop changes, he stays the same, but in a good way.
And I'll say this real quick: The Force, quietly one of the best hip hop albums of 2024.
Yeah, good album.
We got off a little topic. I want to try and close. I can't imagine. Did y'all research enough to have your top 4 tracks just from all of this? Not necessarily just from your list. It's too much. That's my point. It was going to be way too much to try and narrow all of this down to one. How about just your favorite track from either 88 or 94, if you can think about it? Ed, you got just the one. Just is it 1-800-SUICIDE? Just the one. Just one. What's your favorite track?
Probably probably damn. One Love. No,
Warning.
actually, no.
I'm sorry.
Warning. Sorry,
Fuzz, just
warning.
your favorite track from that year, just out of all of them, both 88, 94. First thinking.
I mean, this currently, it could change it to whatever's going on in my life. But
Yeah.
currently, like, What Would You Do by Dog Pound is probably my joint.
Kenny?
Come Clean. That beat is just so disrespectful. And I just remember bumping that all summer in 94.
Rashawn?
I'm gonna be a Homer Crumbling Herb, man. Like you talk about putting that on repeat. That was just like
Yeah.
just woke up and played it.
It's too many. I got too many that, like I said, I could recite most of. Yeah, I mean, it's like that's the whole thing. It's like I could recite Halftime right now. I could recite a lot of these tracks because this is what I grew up on. All right, I thank you all
Like still
for
in the
all
Hour of
this.
Chaos.
I'm not going to allow me to get dragged down by not.
Too late. My bad. Too late.
I
Too
am.
late. The whole PE
I am.
thing.
I'm going to try and end things graciously with a trivia question. Robert Ginnard and Rodney Bryce, who passed in 2014, are the pioneers of crossover success. With that in mind, and those two are the real names of Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. With that in mind, in 2008, VH1, which is when I think hit rap music, I think VH1, they did their greatest 100 greatest songs of hip hop. So
VH1.
knowing it's VH1,
Yeah.
and they've made their 100 greatest songs of hip hop, where did they rank It Takes Two? I can give you a couple hints that of the songs that we had in either 88 or 94, Straight Outta Compton, Juicy, these are all that were on that top 100 list. Straight Outta Compton, Juicy, One Love, My Philosophy, Children's Story, Supersonic, You Gots to Chill, Parent Don't Understand, Regulate, all of them made the list. So where do you think It Takes Two is within that list? Ed, you got a number for me?
I'm gonna go with my lucky 30.
Rashawn?
Number 5.
Fuzz?
I'm going to go with number Public Enemy is the best rap group of all time and the most influential rap group of all time.
I like that Fuzz is fighting the power.
Listen, if you're going to stand on what you believe in, what kind of piece of trash are you?
So that's not a number though. So
That's my number.
so I won't even make that joke because
I don't know, 32. Whatever, 32.
30 what?
32.
32. Kenny?
Let me say 15.
Well, the answer to this trivia question will be in the description for this episode. I'd like to thank all of my guests for dropping into the terminal and would like to thank you for listening. Wish you guys have a good evening and good night.